Stop dreaming, my ex snapped. I woke up rich and famous. She sent flowers with a note. Please, help me. I replied with an invoice. My name's Evan, 32, male. I can't stop replaying one night in my head. The night everything cracked open between me and Lisa, 31, female, my ex. It was 3 years ago, but I still remember the way her voice cut through me like glass when she said, "Stop dreaming, Evan. You'll never be more than a guy who wastes time pretending." We were in the crappy one-bedroom apartment we shared, the kind with water stains on the ceiling and a fridge that hummed louder than our conversations. I'd just come home from an open mic at a dingy bar. My guitar case was leaning against the wall, still warm from the stage lights. I'd played my own songs, shaky and raw, but for once the crowd actually clapped, really clapped, like maybe they believed in me. I came home buzzing, words spilling out of me about maybe recording, maybe sending demos, maybe taking this seriously. Lisa sat cross-legged on the couch, scrolling her phone like I wasn't even there. When I told her how good it felt, she didn't even look up before dropping those words. Stop dreaming. It wasn't the first time. Lisa had always been sharp with her skepticism. Back when we first met, I mistook it for wit. She'd laugh at my ideas, roast my half-baked ambitions, say she was keeping me grounded. I thought it was tough love. But over the years, the jokes turned heavier, sharper. I'd play a new song, and she'd say it sounded like something off a bad commercial. I'd talk about sending work to labels, and she'd remind me that people like us don't get lucky breaks. That night, though, she said it different, not as a jab, not teasing, just cold, flat, like a judge delivering a sentence. I remember staring at her, at the chipped blue nail polish on the hand holding her phone, at the way she didn't even look up to see how her words landed. Something broke inside me. I didn't yell, didn't throw anything. I just picked up my guitar case, walked out, and spent the night on a friend's couch. It should have ended there. But of course it didn't, because Lisa wasn't the type to let go clean. And me? I wasn't done dreaming, not even close. The next morning, Lisa acted like nothing had happened. She slid a plate of scrambled eggs across the table, casual as ever, and said, "Rough night?" like she hadn't gutted me the evening before. That was Lisa in a nutshell. She never admitted the damage, just painted over it. If I brought it up, she'd sigh, say I was being dramatic, or worse, laugh. "You're so sensitive, Evan. I was just being honest. You don't want me to lie, do you?" But honesty with her was always a blade aimed at me. Back then, I was juggling a construction job during the day and music at night. My hands were always raw from swinging a hammer, but all I could think about while sweating through drywall was getting back to my guitar. Lisa didn't see it that way. To her, my music was a hobby, a waste of energy that kept us broke. She wanted more. A nicer apartment, vacations, maybe marriage someday, though usually that came out during fights when she'd throw my lack of ambition in my face. It wasn't always this toxic, though. When we first started dating, she was magnetic, sharp, funny, the kind of woman who lit up a room just by walking in. She liked that I played guitar. She told me I had artist hands. She'd show up at my gigs, buy me drinks, tell her friends she was dating a musician. But something shifted once we moved in together. Support turned into criticism. The guitar she once bragged about became that damn noise. Every dream I voiced was another reason for her to roll her eyes. Things escalated slowly, like a pot boiling. She'd hide little digs in casual conversations. "You know, Evan, Mark from work just bought a house. His girlfriend must be so proud." Or she'd drop hints about how other people managed to grow up while I was still chasing high school fantasies. And every time I tried to push back, she found a way to make me doubt myself. I think the worst was when she started dragging other people into it. At her sister's birthday party, after I played a quick acoustic set at their request, she leaned across the table later and said loud enough for everyone to hear, "Don't worry, guys. Evan's gonna be the next big thing right after he finishes his shift carrying bricks." Everyone laughed. I laughed too, because what else do you do when your girlfriend publicly cuts you down? But inside it burned. The truth is, Lisa couldn't stand the idea that I might actually succeed. Because if I did, it would prove she was wrong. That her constant belittling wasn't honesty, but insecurity. And that terrified her more than being broke ever did. I didn't fully see it then. But looking back, that night she told me to stop dreaming wasn't just cruelty. It was fear leaking out of her. And as my dreams started taking shape, Lisa's cracks started showing. Don't forget to subscribe. It didn't happen overnight, but after that night, I walked out with my guitar. I started drawing harder lines with Lisa. I still lived with her. We were too broke to untangle leases, but something inside me had shifted. I wasn't asking for her approval anymore, and that was when things started moving for me. One weekend, I got invited to fill a last-minute slot at a small music festival. Nothing huge. Local food trucks, a couple hundred people on picnic blankets, but it was the biggest crowd I'd ever stood in front of. I played 3 songs I'd written in that tiny apartment, my voice shaking at first, but something happened. People started singing along by the last chorus. Strangers. Folks I'd never met humming my words back at me. After the set, a guy with a camera walked up, introduced himself as Caleb, an indie filmmaker, said he loved my sound and wanted to shoot a live video, for free. Said he just wanted to capture a voice that deserved to be heard. I floated home that night. Lisa was waiting. The second I walked in, her smile was tight. So, how many people clapped this time? When I told her about Caleb, about the video, about how it could be a real step forward, her whole expression curdled. She didn't say congratulations, didn't ask when or where. She just muttered, "Hope he's not some creep trying to scam you." Then louder, "You realize you're wasting your weekends when we could be doing something that actually helps our lives?" That became her new angle. Sabotage masked as concern. If I had rehearsal, she'd suddenly need the car and disappear with it. If Caleb texted me about filming, she'd snatch my phone and scroll through like she was looking for proof I was cheating. She started complaining to mutual friends about how I was obsessed with pretending to be famous. More than once, someone pulled me aside and asked if I was okay, because Lisa had been saying I was unstable, addicted to attention, even not taking care of myself. The irony was I'd never been clearer. Music was pulling me out of the fog she'd kept me in. But every step forward I took, Lisa tried to claw me back. The breaking point came when Caleb finally uploaded the video. It wasn't fancy. Just me, a guitar, a mic in a warehouse with sunlight pouring through broken windows. But it blew up. 30,000 views in a week, then 50. Comments from strangers around the world. People telling me my song made them cry, made them feel seen. That's when Lisa snapped. I came home to find the video playing on our TV. She was standing there with tears in her eyes, not happy tears, bitter ones. She pointed at the screen and hissed, "This isn't you. You're not special. You're mine. And I won't let you ruin both our lives chasing some lie." And then right in front of me, she hurled the remote at the screen. Glass shattered. My face froze on the cracked TV. That was the moment I knew. She wasn't just trying to ground me anymore. She wanted to destroy me. After Lisa smashed the TV, it was like something in her snapped wide open. She wasn't just mocking me anymore. She was on a mission to make sure nobody else believed in me either. The first big incident happened at a bar gig. Caleb had gotten me on the lineup with 3 other artists, and for the first time, people actually came to see me. Not just drunk regulars, but actual fans from the video. A couple even asked me to sign their shirts. I felt like I was finally breathing air instead of smoke. Halfway through my second song, though, I saw movement near the back. Lisa, weaving through the crowd, drink in hand, eyes red. I'd told her not to come. Things were too tense. But she showed up anyway. At first, she just stood there, glaring. But when people started cheering during the chorus, she lost it. She stormed right up to the front and yelled over the music, "Don't clap for him. He's a liar. He can't even pay rent, and you're acting like he's a star." The mic picked it up. The whole room went dead silent except for her voice, ragged and shaking. I froze. Security had to escort her out while she kicked and screamed, slurring about how I was nothing, how everyone would see the real me soon. I finished the set, but my hands shook so bad I nearly dropped my pick. After that night, she doubled down. She started texting Caleb, pages of venom about how I was unstable, toxic, using him. She messaged some of my followers too, claiming I cheated, claiming I stole songs. She even called my job site once, asking for my foreman, telling him I was too busy chasing fame to show up sober. Luckily, he knew me better than that, but the damage was clear. Lisa wasn't just trying to hurt me privately. She wanted to scorch the earth around me. One night, I came home late from a recording session and found the apartment trashed. My guitar case was overturned, strings cut clean through. Picture frames smashed on the floor. Lisa was sitting in the middle of it all, mascara streaked down her cheeks, whispering over and over, "You're leaving me behind. You're leaving me behind." I remember standing in the doorway, numb. My entire life felt like it was caught between two worlds, one where people finally believed in me, and one where the woman I'd once thought I'd marry was trying to tear that belief out by the roots. I packed a bag that night, slept on Caleb's couch for weeks. Lisa blew up my phone with messages that swung between begging and rage. One read, "If you love me, quit this bullshit and come home." The next, "I hope you die with that guitar in your hands." By the time I blocked her number, I wasn't just brokenhearted, I was angry. Because somewhere deep down, I realized she wasn't just cruel. She was terrified of me proving her wrong. And for the first time in years, I wanted nothing more than to prove her wrong. Don't forget to subscribe. Update. So, wow. I honestly didn't expect my story to blow up the way it did. I posted because I couldn't sleep, because I needed to get it off my chest, not because I thought thousands of strangers would be dissecting my life like a Netflix series. But damn, reading through your comments has been weirdly healing. Some of you called Lisa jealous, insecure, and terrified of irrelevance. That hit harder than I expected. I spent years convincing myself she was just blunt, just keeping it real. No, she was scared. Scared I'd outgrow her, scared I'd prove her wrong. And when I started to, she lost control. A lot of you told me to get out, stay no contact, block her on everything. Believe me, I have. I moved out officially last week. Caleb let me crash at his place until I could scrape together enough to rent a studio. Tiny spot, one window, no furniture yet, but it feels like freedom. Funny thing, some of you joked that my life sounded like the setup for a revenge song. You're not wrong. I've been writing non-stop, and the anger, the heartbreak, the absurdity of it all, it's pouring out of me. But here's the part that's going to sound insane. A few nights ago, I played one of those new songs live. Raw, angry about how someone tried to chain me down. And for the first time, I didn't just feel like a guy singing into the void. I felt like I had an audience. People got it. People felt it. Meanwhile, Lisa's still circling like a storm. She sent flowers to Caleb's place, roses, with a note that said, "Please help me. I need Evan." He handed them straight to me, expressions somewhere between pity and fury. I didn't reply. I didn't call. I didn't show up like I used to when she melted down. Instead, I sat at my desk, opened my laptop, and typed out a reply on a blank piece of paper. Invoice attached. I haven't sent it yet. Not physically, but trust me, I'm done bleeding for her. Next time she comes begging, she's not getting sympathy. She's getting the bill. Because if she wants me to save her, she's going to have to pay the price of everything she tried to break. A week after those roses showed up, Lisa found a new angle. She cornered me outside a coffee shop after rehearsal. I don't know how long she'd been waiting there, but the moment I stepped out, she rushed over like we were still a couple. Her makeup was smudged, her hair pulled back in this messy knot, and she clutched her phone like it was the only thing keeping her upright. "Evan," she gasped, grabbing my sleeve. "Please, just talk to me. Everything's falling apart. I need you." For a second, old reflexes kicked in. My chest tightened, remembering all those nights I'd patched her up after meltdowns, whispered comfort when the world felt too heavy for her. But then I thought about the broken TV, the slashed guitar strings, the bar full of strangers she humiliated me in front of. I pulled my arm free. Calm, cold. "You don't need me, Lisa. You need help, and help comes with a cost." She blinked, confused. Then I handed her an envelope. Inside was a typed invoice. Emotional labor, $50,000. Guitar repairs, $200. Rent lost to sabotage, $4,500. Defamation damages, $100,000. Dreams dismissed, priceless. At the bottom, in bold letters, "Pay in full or stop contacting me." Her face drained of color as she read it. "Is this supposed to be a joke?" "No," I said flatly. "It's what you owe me. Every time you reach out, every time you beg, that's the balance you're ignoring. You don't get sympathy anymore. You get the bill." She laughed then, a sharp, desperate sound, but it cracked in the middle, turning into a sob. She dropped the envelope on the sidewalk, stomped on it, then screamed, "You think you're famous now? You think you're better than me?" Heads turned. People on the patio started recording on their phones. Lisa's voice rose higher, shriller, until she was shrieking about how I abandoned her, how I was stealing everything she built. The irony was rich. She never built a damn thing but walls around me. Security from the cafe had to come out and drag her off. I didn't say a word, didn't lift a hand, just stood there as she crumbled in front of everyone, her rage spilling into the open for strangers to witness. And for the first time, I wasn't humiliated. I was calm, almost satisfied, because the world was finally seeing her the way I'd lived with her, unhinged, unstable, desperate to control what she couldn't. Later that night, I posted a picture of the invoice on Instagram, captioned it, "For services rendered." It blew up. Thousands of likes, comments flooding in with laughing emojis, applause, people calling it the most rockstar breakup move they'd ever seen. Even a local magazine picked it up. Indie singer sends ex an invoice for emotional damage. Lisa saw it, of course. She DM'd me 100 times in a row, threats, pleas, curses. Then she went quiet. Too quiet. And that's when I realized Lisa wasn't done, not even close. For about 2 weeks after the invoice went viral, things were eerily quiet. Too quiet. Lisa's social media went dark. No DMs, no late-night calls, no ambushes outside coffee shops. I almost let myself believe she'd finally given up. Then came the night I walked out of rehearsal and found my car, or what was left of it. Every window had been smashed. The word liar was spray-painted across the hood in sloppy red letters. My tires were slashed so deep they sagged into the asphalt. Sitting on the windshield was a bouquet of dead roses, brittle petals scattered like ash, and taped to the bouquet, a torn-up copy of my invoice. Caleb drove me to the police station. They took photos, filled out a report, but you could see it in the officer's eyes, just another domestic mess they'd never actually solve. They told me to get a restraining order, like a piece of paper was going to stop Lisa when she was in this kind of spiral. I didn't sleep that night. Every creak outside my studio apartment felt like her coming to the door. Every buzz of my phone made my stomach flip. And sure enough, she escalated again. First, she made a fake Facebook page under my name, posting rants about how I abandoned her, mixing in just enough truth to make it sting. Then she sent messages to venues I'd booked, warning them I was violent and unsafe. I almost lost a slot at a festival until Caleb vouched for me. The final straw came when she showed up at one of my gigs uninvited. Again. This time she didn't just heckle. She stormed the stage mid-song, grabbed the mic from my hands, and screamed into it, "He's a fraud! He stole my money! He stole my life!" The crowd booed. Security wrestled her off the stage while she kicked and wailed. Someone posted the whole thing on TikTok. By morning, it had 500,000 views. Comments ranged from, "Yikes, get her help," to, "This is better than reality TV." And me? I was left standing there under the stage lights, guitar in hand, heart pounding, wondering how the hell my private hell had turned into viral entertainment. After the show, I found my dressing room door had been kicked in. Inside, my guitar strings were snapped clean through, again. On the mirror, scrawled in lipstick, "You owe me." That night, I sat in Caleb's car, shaking, and I knew something with absolute clarity. Lisa wasn't just trying to ruin me. She was trying to drag me back into her chaos, kicking and screaming. And I had a choice. Either let her keep pulling me under, or end this on my terms. Update: I'm back. Honestly, I wasn't sure I would be. After my last post blew up, things in real life went from bad to absolutely unhinged. And yeah, to the people who said, "She's going to get worse before she goes away." You were right. Painfully right. I read those comments, thought maybe y'all were being dramatic or that Lisa would eventually burn herself out. Instead, she burned everything around me. My car? Trashed. My gigs? Almost lost because she messaged venues saying I was violent. And the stage crash? Yeah, you've probably seen it by now. It's circulating on TikTok with the caption, "When your ex can't let go." 500,000 views. My humiliation served up for the internet like popcorn. Funny thing though, instead of killing me, it backfired. I've gained more followers in 2 weeks than I did in the last year. People are calling me the invoice guy. Memes, fan edits, strangers showing up to gigs just to see if the crazy ex will make a cameo. It's surreal as hell to be known because your life fell apart in public. But I'll admit, Part of me is angry at myself for not listening sooner. Some of you were blunt. She's not going to stop until you make her stop. At the time, I didn't want to believe that. I still wanted to think she'd disappear if I ignored her. Now, I know better. And here's the wild part. Her own meltdown is handing me the weapon I didn't realize I had. Every rant, every scene, every unhinged stunt, it's all on camera. Screenshots, recordings, proof. Lisa wanted to drag me down, but what she actually did was hand me the material for the best song I've ever written. Maybe the best album. Some of y'all joked after my last post that revenge should come in the form of art. I think you were right. I'm about to take everything she did, every slap, every scream, every sabotage, and put it where she can't touch it. In my music, in my story, in front of crowds who'll sing along with my pain while she fades into the background noise. Because the one thing Lisa can't stand, the one thing that will gut her more than any restraining order or police report, me turning her chaos into my fuel, and people loving me for it. Stay tuned. 3 weeks after Lisa's stage crash went viral, I stepped onto the biggest stage of my life. Not Madison Square Garden or anything. Just a mid-tier music festival, 15,000 people sprawled on the grass under string lights. But to me, it was everything. Caleb had convinced the organizers to keep me on the lineup despite Lisa's smear campaign. Trust me, he told them. People want to see this guy now. He's got a story. And damn if he wasn't right. By the time I tuned my guitar, the crowd was buzzing. Not just waiting for music, waiting for me. I didn't tell anyone what I planned. Not Caleb, not the band I borrowed, not even the sound guy. But when my slot came, I walked to the mic, heart pounding, and said, "This next song's about someone who told me to stop dreaming." The crowd roared. I started strumming, slow and steady, my voice cutting through the night. The lyrics weren't subtle. They told the story of a lover who mocked, sabotaged, and tried to chain me down, only to watch me rise anyway. I sang about broken TVs, slashed guitar strings, and dead roses on windshields. About being called a fraud, a liar, a nothing, and finding out that nothing was exactly where the fire started. By the first chorus, people were chanting along, even though they'd never heard it before. By the second, phones were in the air, lights swaying. And by the bridge, the part where I sang "Invoice paid in tears, balance cleared in applause," the entire place exploded. I spotted her, Lisa, standing near the back, arms crossed tight, her face pale under the stage lights. Someone pointed a phone at her, whispering. She tried to shove past, but people recognized her from the viral clips. Murmurs spread. That's her. That's the ex. Phones swung toward her like spotlights. And she cracked. She screamed over the music, tried to shout me down again, but this time no one listened. Her voice was swallowed whole by thousands chanting my lyrics back at me. The sound was deafening. Lisa, once the voice that dominated my life, was just background noise now, drowned in applause. Security moved in, and I kept playing. My hands didn't shake this time. I didn't freeze. I sang louder, stronger, letting every wound she left bleed out through the mic. When the set ended, I was drenched in sweat, lungs on fire. The crowd chanted my name. Strangers hugged me. Caleb rushed up, eyes wide, shouting, "That's it, Evan! That's the one!" Backstage, someone handed me water, another handed me their phone. My performance was already blowing up online, clips spreading across TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, headlines popping, Invoice guy drops revenge song live, crowd loses it. And Lisa? She was the villain in every angle. Clips of her face, her tantrum, her being escorted out. For years, she'd told me to stop dreaming. Now the dream was hers too. Only it was a nightmare. The festival changed everything. One song turned into an album deal. The viral clips turned into interviews, playlists, podcasts calling me the guy who turned heartbreak into an anthem. I wasn't rich yet, but for the first time, I wasn't scraping by on drywall dust and late-night ramen. Money started flowing, followers piling up. My inbox flooded with offers, collaborations, invites. For years, Lisa's voice had been the loudest in my head. Now, thousands of strangers were shouting me down louder than she ever could. And this time, it was love, not contempt. But fame has a way of dragging ghosts back. 3 months after the festival, I came home to my new place. a loft with big windows and a view of the skyline. And there they were, a massive bouquet of lilies on my doorstep. Tucked inside, a handwritten note. Evan, please, I'm sorry, I'm lost. Help me. For a long time, I just stood there holding it, my chest tight. Part of me remembered the girl I met years ago, the one who laughed at my bad chords, who kissed me backstage after my first open mic. But that girl was long gone. In her place was the one who slashed my tires, trashed my guitars, screamed me off stage, tried to tear me down until there was nothing left. I carried the flowers inside, sat at my desk, and pulled out the same envelope I'd handed her months ago. Only this time I added a new line to the invoice. Public humiliation, viral content creation. $1,000 to $1,000. I slipped the note back inside, sealed it, and mailed it to the return address she'd written on the card. A week later, a package came back. Inside was the torn-up invoice, shredded into confetti, and nothing else. No note, no apology, no more flowers. That was the last time I heard from Lisa. Now, every time I step on stage and the crowd sings that song back to me, I think of her. I think of the night she told me to stop dreaming, how certain she was that I'd never be more than a failure. And I smile, because she gave me the best revenge I could have ever asked for. Proof. Proof that I didn't just dream. I woke up, rich, famous, free. And if she ever tries to crawl back again, I've got the invoice ready.